have a higher vitamin D3 requirement, we're probably going to be looking at Harrison's high potency as a pellet, right? So different birds, different species, different nutrient requirements, but when it comes to the marketing of pellets, often it's our food is the best. Our food is always the best. Like, okay, can we get some details on what actually is in that food, and then we match the right food to the right bird, right? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about fresh food. Thank you for the segue. So let's talk about, seeds as a base. So one of the reasons that you'll see a lot of sometimes hormone issues associated with seed diets is because if you look at the numbers, it starts to become a little bit clear why that's happening, right? You get this thing all the time. Budgies and cockatiels, lovebirds, they're prone to chronic egg laying. No, they're not. They're prone to receiving this type of diet that's over the metabolizable energy threshold and getting that year round. So we're going to talk about that. So we're gonna fix the hormone issue there. So you can see some of them are really, really high. Actually, shout out to Hari for publishing the article quantifying sunflower seeds. They have an article on their site about the metabolizable energy content of sunflower seeds. It's as high as 6,000 kilocalories per kilogram. So if they're feeding nothing but seed mix and you're having hormone issues, we have to look at that diet. And this is just that one parameter, right? We haven't talked about all the vitamin requirements, protein requirements, nutrient requirements, right? Seeds are not complete in their protein content. They don't have essential amino acids. Methionine, lysine is low. Calcium is less than 0.1%. To give you guys a little bit of reference, budgies are low calcium specialists. They require 0.3%. So seeds are only 0.1%, so it's ultra low. So what happens when you have budgies that are on a high calorie seed diet and they start laying eggs? In order for budgies to lay eggs safely, they need to go up to 0.8%. So you have a budgie on a seed diet on 0.1% calcium. That's why we get the egg laying, and that's why egg laying becomes a medical danger when they're on a seed diet. So it's not that you can't feed seeds or nuts. It's that we have to control how much we feed in the diet so that the overall diet calorie density is controlled. So for example, we feed seeds and nuts with control. You use them as training reinforcers. We use them as foraging foods. But it's not just going to be a free-for-all, high-calorie diet. Nuts are often in this range. Like almonds here are a little bit lower, but if you have like Brazil nuts, they're typically going to be very, very high, right? Brazil nuts, pistachios, cashews, that kind of a thing. Nuts are very high because they're high in fat. So, second trigger I wanted to talk about is temperature. This is something I worked out a while back with my mentor, Pamela Clark. I don't know if you guys know her. She's been consulting for a very long time. And she's imparted a lot of her decades of knowledge onto me so that we can take it on to the next level. But temperature was something that both of us noticed. As I started consulting, I noticed the same thing. Especially for me, because I consult on a lot of budgies. I see hundreds of budgies who all are, and what's the interesting thing about budgies is most people have a lot of budgies. So rather than one macaw or one Amazon, most people have like 10 budgies, or 4 budgies, 6 budgies, 10 budgies, right? So I get to see a huge number of birds and the spectrum all at once. And it's very, very interesting to me. Temperature is a very crucial factor, and I've noticed the same thing in my observations as she did in her consultations over the years. I've made some consistent observations that as you get up to the 74, 75 Fahrenheit range, you're going to start seeing those hormones pop up. It's going to start becoming a contributing factor. So I usually tell people, keep your house like 70, 72 is fine, 68 totally fine. But there is some old knowledge swimming out there that you have to keep it 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I actually didn't have a photo for the other case, but one of the cases that came to me last year was a cockatiel who wouldn't stop laying eggs. And as I was doing the consultation, I saw the heater in the background, and I think this was like June. And I was like, is that heater on? And I asked them, I said, hey, is that heater on? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, what temperature is it in your house right now? And they said 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And I was like, come again? And so when I asked them, I said, why is it 82 degrees Fahrenheit? And they said, oh, we were told we have to keep it this warm. No, but parrots are endotherms. They regulate their own body temperature, especially budgies, cockatiels, which is interesting. They come from, yes, a hot environment, but from a desert environment. It's hot during the day. The temperature change at night is quite cold. Actually, they can tolerate a very wide temperature range. So I thought that was very interesting. That cockatiel, after we implemented the changes, did stop laying eggs. Fantastic. So